Shit. Yo, what up, kid? What up, yo? I'm about to go live, yo.
I'm finna check you out. I'm checking out Jonah Bay right now on the tube. So
Yeah, that
I'm
dude.
finna come to your live.
That dude be doing this thing, yo. He got some stuff to teach. I'm reading on. There's a guy giving me some information about your situation. He giving me some good insight too, yo. So I'm a read off what you're talking about in the live. So you might want to tune in.
Cool. You finna start it right now?
Yeah, I'm about to start in a few.
Alright, I'm gonna hop in there.
All right, man. What's up, fam? How y'all feeling, yo? I'm trying to get everything together, man. Like, give me like 1 second. I got you. Hold on. I just talked. That was fine. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Somebody give me a thumbs up or something. If you can hear what I'm saying. If not, I gotta adjust my microphone. Okay. Thumbs up. All right, bet. So if you caught my my last video and who I was just talking to, on the live. All right, so if you're familiar with it, the dude finest thing walking got pulled over. All right, and we talked about the foreign national passport. We talked about getting pulled over and dealing with basically policy enforcers, the police. So what he had done was, if you haven't seen his video, those of you who didn't get time to watch it, or if you didn't see it, he basically put the private tags on his car, the same ones I had, the exact same tags I have, and he got pulled over when he was just giving it a test run to try it out. So what happens is now I didn't see the video. He said he had it recorded, but he didn't put the video out yet. But from what I gathered, the knowledge of what he was saying, um, they there was three of them, and one of them was checking his information. The other two were watching him, and he was basically telling them, he was traveling, he wasn't driving, he wasn't in that jurisdiction, and they still hassled him and gave him a ticket. He said they gave him two tickets. They gave him one for failure, no registration, I believe, driving with no registration or something like that, and then the other one was driving with no insurance. One of them was dropped, and the other one they went ahead and moved forward with, and basically said you got to come to court for it. So now we're basically, this being a first with, us as nationals, us particularly. I know there's a lot of veterans out there that are that have the knowledge, but like we don't really have a whole lot of those jumping in. I have a guy talking to me, which we'll get to in a second, but this dude seems to know what he's talking about. Ever since I put my video about the foreign nationals with me getting pulled over, dude's been talking to me on Instagram, and this guy he's really bringing some a spiritual aspect to it. And it's making a lot of sense. So anyway, my man got tickets, and we were talking about who to call at this point because we know that the Department of State has released um, a document to the North Carolina Police Department, basically saying they've been getting complaints that their police officers have been overstepping their jurisdiction and trying to pull people in their jurisdiction who are foreign nationals. And they were saying, we are well aware of what's happening. They have the right to travel. You need to educate your officers, because if you don't educate your officers, we'll have to get involved. Pretty much in so many words. And it was like, if you need to be referred to a certain area to look at this stuff, and then they put the line of the lines of the websites to go check out. So as a result, this circulated the internet. This happened in 2015. This is something that's been on the books for like 6 years now. So with that said, I mean, the information has been out there. It just hasn't really been mainstream. And when stuff like this comes out, I mean, there's some, I forgot what the guy's name was North something. And Finest, I know you said you were watching. If you are watching, leave the guy's name, because I can't get to it this second. Leave his name in the chat so we can look into it, because maybe if we got 20 heads or 50 heads looking into this to investigate it, it's gonna be better than just us. So if anybody knows this guy's name or where he's at or who's may have taken his place since 2005, I know certain officials can only be in certain positions a certain amount of time. Let us know, because at this point where we're at is it's looking like, from what my assessment is. Now, this is my intelligent assessment. I live in Maryland. There's a lot of Moors here. So the groundwork may have already been laid for the right to travel through the Moors. They probably use their organization, because there's a lot of Moors here. I know a bunch of them. They probably use their organization as a stronghold to go ahead and set the foundation for people to travel as their right, as their pretty much unalienable right. So with that said, that's probably why it was easier for me, and why there's a PDF file in Baltimore and Maryland in general. I was out Laurel and I got pulled over, and I didn't get any hassle out Laurel at all. It was like a quick transaction. So with that said, again, that indicates is either one or two things. Either the police here are more advanced than other ones, which I highly doubt, or two, this battle has already been fought, and what we're seeing is the remnants of it. Now, what I was telling Finest is, what it seems to be happening is when you get pulled over the first time, maybe they don't see your status for whatever reason. And then the second time, maybe they updated it or something like that. I don't know. But from what I'm starting to see is, in areas like where he lives, where there is no PDF, or, Chicago, where there is no PDF file. I didn't find one for Chicago at all. So maybe it's a situation where nobody's actually taking the fight up there. So if it's a situation where you live in one of these cities where you can't find the foreign national police policy PDF, Might be a situation where nobody's fought that battle yet, and you might need to be the guy to step up and fight it, and it's not an easy fight, but when we doing stuff like this to try to take our rights back with which the people have let their rights get eroded over time, sometimes it's a fight, man. The price of freedom isn't free. The bottom line, freedom ain't free, man. It costs. So that's what time we on. Now, getting to the gentleman who's leaving the messages in the inbox, and he's basically talking about what we're talking about now. Pretty sure dude wants to remain anonymous, just from the gist of the conversation. All right, so the first thing he asked me is I guess he saw the video. He says, "Is your boy still riding unregistered tags?" And we all know he's not. He's basically saying he was explaining about multiple jurisdictions on the highways. The cops know about being a national, and sometimes you have to let them know that you aren't traveling in their jurisdiction. You are traveling on the highways of the heavens. That is very interesting. He says highways of the heavens is known and recognized by law, but if you don't let them know, they are going to assume and presume you don't. But traffic tickets are no big deal. You got to know how to deal with them. So I'm listening like, all right, okay, continue. So he says, make an appearance in writing, which is legal. Now, I thought about doing this. This is interesting because I actually thought, if you're if you're a foreign national, you have your status corrected, one of these courts are trying to yank you in to their jurisdiction. What they would love to have you do is come in that court and walk past those bars. Once you walk past those bars, your ass is theirs. You're a U.S. citizen. Don't give a damn who you. If you walk past those bars, you're screwed. Bottom line, once you walk past those bars, you go in that court, you stand up, all this, that, and the third. When a judge comes in, you sit down, they call your name. You're already screwed when you basically represent that name because they're calling the straw man. When you represent that straw man, you're screwed. And you seal your fate when you walk past those bars and stand behind that podium. You're finished. So basically, you better hope the judge is in a good mood. Otherwise, you ain't got no rights. You are a animal. You are a monster, as in the Black's Law Dictionary says. The definition of human, look it up if you don't believe me, is a monster. You don't have any rights. You're an animal, and you'll be herded and treated as such. So remember that. So my man's making a good point. He says you got to write. You have to basically write something, basically an affidavit. Now, affidavits are all powerful. We're learning about the power of affidavits. You can look up. Well, goddamn, he got deleted. You can look up on Instagram. My man, Yusuf L. Yusuf L. He specifies how powerful affidavits are, and they are. So you want to do an affidavit basically in writing. Pretty much he says which is legal, and you won't get a failure to appear. You don't want the failure to appear because then at that point they out to get that's when they send them bounty hunters after you pretty much. And them bad boys are trying to get whatever that picture of what looks like your physical body. They're trying to get the closest thing to that picture. No, they can't get you, but they can get something similar pretty much. And then once they grab you up, then you got to dig all the way out. It's much easier to get out of situations when you don't even get into them, if that makes sense. So you want to avoid that. So then he says, basically, make your appearance in writing with an affidavit letter, and you won't get a failure to appear. You will get a new court date in a higher level court. Bing! That's what we want. As nationals, we are not supposed to be in those bullshit kangaroo courts because those things are lawless wastelands. There are no rules of engagement in those kind of courts. You want to stay away from those. Foreign nationals should not be in those type of courts at all because at that point you're at mercy. And as we want to be creditors, not debtors. We're not acting like debtors. We're acting like creditors pretty much. So if you show up, I always use the moniker, if you act like a debtor, you get treated like a debtor. If you get pulled over by a police officer and you start arguing, you start being a dickhead, you start calling them names, you start condescending them, you're acting like a debtor, you're engaging in controversy. Controversy is for court. That's how you get a court date. I stand by that, man. Anytime I deal with these police, I pretty much treat them like they're I treat them like it's customer service, really. The customer can be as much of an asshole as they want to. They can be as loud as they want because at the end of the day, they're the customer. So you got to pretty much, within reason, you got to pretty much talk to them like children. You got to let them get whatever it is off their chest. And you got to stay calm. it's pretty much how you got to conduct yourself, man. Um, that's like more of a control thing. You got to control your mind. You got to control the direction of the situation, which is conducive for everybody. You want to, even if the police officer doesn't know what the hell he's doing, you have to pretty much try to control the situation as much as possible in a positive light, so that the ending result can be beneficial to both. So that you don't get harassed as much as they want to harass you, so that they don't have to pay out of their freaking pocket for overstepping their boundaries, so that they don't get shitted on by the Department of State. You pretty much got to think for them, because at this point they're not seeming to be thinking at all. So moving back to it, okay, so he says you all right, so you will get a new court date in a higher level court. That's where you want to be heard. All right, bing. So okay, cool. So I said, what should the letter say? He says, if you have to go at all, basically, your affidavit should almost mirror your explanatory statement, except that you will make it clear to the judge in writing that you were traveling on the highways of the heavens, and quote the scriptures as well, supreme law of the land. Traffic courts are just magistrate. They're referees. There you go. There you go, right there, yo. So we didn't do an explanatory statement, but that's not to say that we can't do one now. So what I would do is let's start digging into what the explanatory statement should say. He said you should quote scriptures. Hebrew Israelites, man, gotta quote those scriptures anyway. So let's move with that. All right. That's why I would leave. Yeah, this guy says he's in Maryland for real. So I'm real, like I never was really big on groups and stuff like that. But this guy, the advice dude's giving this is good advice right here. So anybody that's got advice like this, I would definitely like to talk to you on a one-on-one. Always make your appearance in writing. Never go to a kangaroo court. There you go. There you go. Yeah. He's saying all right, so Finest, he's saying he listened to you a few times and it seems like you're trying to mix public and private. And you can live both, he says. You just can't mix them. You got to know how to live public and how to live private. Yeah. Many can't completely detach. So the thing about it is the fact that we're under a United States military jurisdiction is extremely hard to completely detach from the public and just live in the private. And I think about this all the time. All right, so for instance, if you wanted to live completely in the private, you would literally have to build your own device to cut down a tree. You would have to cut down trees, cut the wood itself, insulate the wood in order to build a structure to live in. You would have to basically thread your own clothes pretty much. Um, you literally would have to do everything over to live completely in the private. And this is because the United States corporation has been basically a knee on our necks for so long, is really almost impossible for us to separate. It can be done, and I've heard of people doing it. It's not easy, but yeah, anytime you're making money legally, you are usually dealing with the public. That's facts. I'm not disagreeing with you. If we're doing what we're doing, even right now, the internet, we're on the internet. The internet is public. We're on YouTube. YouTube is public. You feel me? It's public. So yes, it is very hard to detach from it completely. Meaning you would have to give up a whole lot of stuff. You wouldn't be able to see your family as much. It's a complete life change. And it's one of those things where if you didn't grow up living like that, or if you didn't grow up not having those kind of things, it's a culture shock, man. So yes, I do believe we should be able to survive in the private only, but it's got to be one of those things where you have to, and what we're moving with and what we're trying to do, it's a balance, but you can't mix them though. So my man is saying if you out there traveling and you out there sliding like you said you was doing, you can't be carrying no permits, no licenses, none of that stuff. You got to be completely private. You can't be, which I did in my stop too. I had a permit on me, and pretty much that's mixing public and private. So my man has a point. That's probably why I got hassled more too. So yeah, so there you go. Hold on. Make your money under your EIN, not your social security number. Right. Yeah. So we know about the EINs. The ITIN, I personally am probably gonna look into myself. I got the ITIN joint from Bad Wolf. What does this say here? Hold on. Own nothing, control everything. I'm working on that too. So I'm waiting on some paperwork to come back for that. Basically, take control of the strong man. I understand what that means. Walking right now as well. You can use a legal entity for business or commercial purposes. Yep, that's what it's for. That's facts. It's a trade name. It was created so we can do commerce pretty much within the United States corporation. But they're trying to get you when they try to. All right, so for instance, that's correct. But when you were pulled over by that police officer, he wants you to represent that straw man, which is not right. Because at the end of the day, you never really contracted to be that straw man at birth. They pretty much gave it to you. Nothing but the passport and paperwork, walking, no permits. I mean, to me, it looks like your stop was completely in the right. So I guess at this point, what you should do is go ahead, do the affidavit. This is what I would say. I would do the affidavit, honestly. Um, get it notarized, send that in to your court or what have you like that. You also want to take a copy of your also include a copy of your passport. I would do the book, honestly. I would do the passport book, maybe even put both the card and the book on the joint. I would do that. I probably would try to, if you have an extra copy of your birth certificate, I'll probably send that directly in with it. That might be a good idea. And send that in basically and say, you're a foreign national, you've already got your status corrected, the whole 9 yards, send your affidavit in, and then boom, let that be the business. You know what I mean? All money comes through trust. Yes, sir. But the problem is that police officer wasn't accepting you. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So what you got happening is the dude is he's in the public and he's trying to yank you in the public because he doesn't understand the difference between public and private, which is a problem. Like, yo, they're supposed to be educated on this stuff, but you got pockets of the United States corporation which aren't being educated properly to not infringe on the foreign nationals or the American nationals. So I mean, that's pretty much what we have from what it looks like. Can use to get back to the social security. Yep. Anything they can use to get back to the social security number, they will use it as you. Yep. There you have it. So he's basically saying render on the Caesar what is Caesar's, which is what I had said like 4 or 5 videos back. It's in the Bible. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, meaning give him all that stuff back. If you got a permit, give it back to him. If you got a permit to carry, give it back to him. If you got a license, give it back to him. That's what we're moving like. Now, here's the issue. We talked about renting cars and stuff like that. You're not gonna be able to rent a car if you don't have a license. I tried to use the passport card. They won't accept the passport card to rent a car. So that's gonna be something that you really gonna have to weigh your options, man. If you want to live in the public and the private, basically, this is one of the fights you're gonna have to worry about fighting for. You know, but I think as foreign nationals and people that as one of the people, pretty much, we should have the option to be able to live public or private, pretty much. That's what I feel like. But yeah, he's saying you shouldn't be. You can't mix the two. Can't mix them. So yeah, that's what he's saying. But yeah, he's making some sense though, man. Dude's making good sense. So look, how do y'all feel about the whole entire situation with writing the affidavit? Let me hear some of y'all opinions too. This might not even be a long live stream unless y'all got questions or y'all got some concerns or something. But we here to help my man out, man, because this is a family almost, man. Until we consolidate all of our efforts and work in unison, we will continue to be picked off one by one. We must form a consulate. Now, here's the thing about the consulate. How does that work? How do you form a consulate? The Moorish have their whole entire situation and their whole entire government, and they have a lot of documents backing it up. They have their stuff in order. How do you even go about forming a consulate? Like, how does that work? How would we go about that, man? I figured at one point we would all need to be sitting down talking to each other. You know what I mean? How does that work? How do we sit down and coordinate something like that? Will a foreign driver's license work to rent a car? I don't know, man. Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't know, man. Renting a car is weird because we can start a tribe. Yeah, that's true. We could start a tribe. That's facts. Renting a car is weird because it, they try to get it like, all right, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you my story about Enterprise and Rent-A-Car. I'm just going to put it out there. All right. So Enterprise car, Rent-A-Car, pretty much. I was traveling in my personal conveyance, and my door got hit. This lady backed right into my door. All right. So here's what happened. Got her insurance information pretty much. She didn't need mine because she ran into me and she already admitted guilt. Most people that admit guilt if you let them. Called it in. They'd already heard from her, so they already familiar with what happened. So this is what Enterprise. This is what I'm going through with Enterprise right now. I'm all saying all this stuff to go somewhere. So bear with me. All right. So they put me in a rental car. Pretty much, my car is getting straightened out. The shop I took it to, pretty much, they don't do any work till they get a check. The insurance company dragged their feet for like a month and a half, 2 months to pay the check. So the car ended up being repaired for 3-4 months, pretty much. It was there for a while. So I'm using a rental car in the meantime, and I get calls from Enterprise saying, "Yeah, so when you bringing the rental back?" I say, "Well, when my car is ready." So they say, "Hey, well, what's basically happening is the insurance company is saying, hey, we can't cover the rental anymore." I'm like, "Yo, that ain't my problem. You're insured. Their insured ran into me." They said, "Well, you got to call them because we ain't in it." So I said, "Okay." I called them and I told them, "Yeah, so I'm gonna hold on to this rental and y'all gonna cover it until my car is finished." And they said, "Well, your car's been there for 2 months. It should be done by now." I said, "That's your problem because y'all dragged y'all feet cutting the check, and they told you up front that they're not doing any work till they get a check. So that's on y'all. So y'all straighten it out and figure it out amongst yourselves and Enterprise, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep my rental." Months go by. My car is done. I went ahead and turned the rental in. So now I get a call from them saying, "Yeah, you owe a balance of such and such." I don't even remember how much it was. I'm like, "I don't owe you nothing." When I signed the contract, I signed it without prejudice UCC 1308. So I don't owe you anything. They're like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just have to what is it?" He said I have to send it higher up. So I get a mail from Enterprise, and it's got my name, but it's a little different. It's misspelled pretty much. They did it on purpose because they couldn't get anything for the name that they put on it. So they tried to send me that, and I sent it back to them, what have you, like that. So these places, they operate really weird. So I ended up doing I think, what the hell did I do? I think I did I got my name common law copyrighted too. So I sent them basically saying, you basically infringing on my copyright right now. If you continue this, you will owe me $500,000. You can continue if you want to. I want you to continue. So at this point, I can pretty much get some money out of you. That's the way I felt at that time. So I'm like, that's where we are. So I sent them that note. I haven't been bothered since. But you're dealing with these companies, man. These companies operate really awkward. So as far as accepting a foreign driver's license, probably not, because at the end of the day, I think they're aware of this game that we're playing pretty much and the way we're moving, and they try to get around not having to take any L's. The answer is trust. Article 1, Section 10 predicts all unlimited contracting, unincorporated associations are also key. Okay. There you go. There you have it. There you have it. But yeah, man, we got to do find us. We got to do like some kind of thing where we can like have a split screen and we can talk, because I think we can draw a whole lot of knowledge within that one video, because there'd be a lot of questions. And I'm still learning, honestly. I don't know everything. I know a bit, but I don't know everything at all. I'm still learning a whole lot of stuff, man. But yeah, we got to get that done. But yeah, so where we are with this whole entire thing, the affidavit will be done. Get the affidavit done, my man. Don't fret. We're gonna handle this, bro. We're gonna get that taken care of. You're gonna be straight. And then once that happens, you put that evidence. Also, did you ever do the U.S. National Master? Did you do that? Did you hit up the Final State Walkin for that? Because if you didn't do that, that might be the bridge. Because what I'm thinking is, if you're doing your passport, if you did your passport and everything the way it was done, they don't communicate with each other, man. These entities don't communicate with each other. Like the Department of State only gets him. You know what the Department of State is like? You know how you got a dad upstairs, the mom leaves out and says, "Watch the kids." The mom was the United States of America Republic, and the the Department of State is pretty much like the dad who's supposed to be watching the kids upstairs. And then the United States, and all the all the what is it, the police corporation, all that stuff, they're all down, they're all the siblings. So they start wrestling, and then somebody gets hit, and then when somebody gets hit, somebody starts yelling and crying, and then you hear a voice upstairs, "Don't make me come downstairs and beat everybody's ass." That's that's the Department of State. So they don't get involved until like somebody's already screwed up for real. You know, they're not communicating. They're not talking to the kids and telling them not to make so much noise downstairs, not to be careful, not to suplex Jimmy through a table, not to, you know, it's pretty much how it goes. So the problem is these places aren't communicating with each other. You know, you got the Department of State not communicating with all the, sending out the affidavits to all the police places or whatever, all the states. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, it would be a lot of goddamn. Think of how much work it would be if every foreign national had to have their information mailed or faxed out to every single police station around the United States corporation. Think about how much work that would be. That would be entirely too much work. And it kind of makes sense why they don't talk to each other. That's why something has to happen for them to get involved, which is why that letter came to North Carolina. So, I mean, that's pretty much what time we're on with that. So, I mean, the Bad Wolf has something called the U.S. national, what is it? The foreign nationality master, where it's pretty much sending a note to the police commissioners and chiefs of every police department near your area where you will be traveling. He's also included when I actually got it from him, but it's the writ of free man's travel. He's also got that too, and those are two documents that you're supposed to submit to your police departments in order to put them on notice that you're a foreign national. Back off. So we're gonna do that. Holler at my man for that, and then we'll get that moving and let that be the business. You know what I mean? Yeah, you need that writ of free man's travel. Yeah, get that and get the affidavit. Get that affidavit, man, so we can get moving. You know what I mean? We gotta be out here. We out here big sliding. You know, if we big sliding, we gotta big slide correctly. You feel me, my man? But I respect the. It takes balls to challenge the authority, man. A lot of people, you see, your boy wouldn't even get in the car with you. You know what's crazy to me? You'll have guys that'll load up the 9 and go run up on a block over some beef, but won't challenge the authority, man. Won't challenge police. You know what I mean? It's that blows me away. Like, bro, you will literally risk getting smoked over some stupid shit that don't make no difference to nobody and won't affect nobody 20 years from now, other than in some negative ways, than to try to make a change, you know, where people can be moving around and get their rights back. Somebody else asking me for a PDF. I need to refer these people to this because again, if you missed the part where I said this, here we go. If you cannot find the foreign national police policy for your city, you're the guy that has to be the one that puts them on notice. And I know it's a pain in the ass to have to create a new path to travel, to have to make that path through the grass that turns into a dirt road everybody can walk through after you, but you got to do it. And it is what it is. As people that are awakened and have a higher level of consciousness, this is the burden we've been given. And I got lucky because people have already done it before me. But every time I get pulled over, pretty much, I still have to know my shit. You saw me get hassled the first time. You still got to know your laws. You still got to know your shit. You got to be about it. So if you're going to be about this life, man, you can't half-ass it. You got to go hard, and you got to know your laws and all that stuff. Explanatory statement of the president. Yeah, he just made a good point. He says everybody should get your explanatory statement from the president all the way down to the local police districts you travel through. A gentleman always gives notice. That's great info, yo. Yo, that's dope. A gentleman always gives notice. That's facts. That's facts right there. That's irrefutable facts, man. That's facts. Yeah, everybody should get it. So yeah, start with that foreign nationality master. We start with the president and we work our way all the way down. So you're gonna be sending mail probably for the next 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, can't nobody say they ain't get it. Keep all your stuff filed away somewhere too. Don't just throw your shit all around and I know where it is when you need it. Make sure you put it somewhere where you can actually get to it. I don't need to tell y'all adults, but I'm just saying, yo, too many times I see people who don't keep their receipts, you know, and try to come back without their stuff. You got to keep them receipts, baby. And that's what time we on. Yeah, I mean. All right. So yeah, got to end that police fair. You're right, man. Trust, birth cert, authenticated certificate of live birth. Those are our remedies. Yeah, I'm working on the trust now. I got the upper and lowercase birth certificate. They tried to get. Let me tell you about that. I tell you guys. I don't know if I told you guys about that. I think I did. How I tried to get it, and they were trying to give me shit about it. Like, oh, there is no upper and lowercase. What are you talking about? They tried to ask. They tried to literally tell me that there's no upper and lowercase appellation of my name. However, we put it in the computer is how it puts out. There's absolutely no way I can determine. Like, listen, man. Listen, man. All right. Listen. I know. I know. All right. I already know. So you might as well not even trying to spin it to me because I know. I just want what I'm asking for. Please give me what I'm asking for, pretty much. I got it, So there we go. Registered mail secures content, not just guaranteed delivery. Yo, registered mail. I actually sent something out registered mail the other day. Registered mail is not cheap. Certified mail will ensure delivery. Registered mail ensures the content and delivery. So he made a good point on that. Registered mail is what you want. It costs a lot more money, but as foreign nationals, again, that's the burden we've pretty much been given. So it is what it is. Make sure you send stuff out registered mail. I sent the filings to my UCC department in Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, registered mail pretty much. So yeah. I mean, I had to, dude, I got to get a stamp. Here's another thing, too. The Bad Wolf was telling us, too, that stamps, hold on. Your stampers are key. So when you get mail, make sure you get yourself a stamper. Now, I got a stamper from these people here. This is what it says. It's probably backwards, but, maybe you can put it in a mirror or something. You can pause it if you're watching the playback. All right. So that stamper right there I had bought, it was $80. It wasn't cheap. But this stamp right here is for the secure party creditor. So anybody who has a secure party creditor process done, they're familiar with that stamp. So yeah, you got to grab, that's part of the package. You got to grab that stamp. So I actually ordered a couple stamps off Amazon, the 4-line ones. The Bad Wolf was also saying, I keep mentioning his name because he's got some great info. Go check my man out, James C Lovette. If you haven't checked him out yet, go check him out, man. He's got some great info on his channel. A lot of this stuff I'm getting from him, I'm applying it and it's working. So I got the stamp from as per his pretty much his recommendation. It's 4 lines. You want to get it in red ink because basically red ink signifies American nationality. And then when you stamp the mail you get that you don't want is basically saying no contract UCC 1308. No, I don't accept, return, rejected, whatever like that. When you stamp that bad boy, put it back in the mail. So if they send you a court summons or something like that, or some bullshit, like let's say they send you something for jury duty or something stupid like that, you stamp that bad boy, send it out, let it go. So you basically refuse it. And pretty much that's it. No contract, basically. You keep something for 30 days, it becomes fact. 30 days non-response or non-denial or something like that, that's acceptance. It is what it is, All right, so that's what time we on for that. Anybody got any questions here? Any other points you want to nail on real quick? Catch up here. Oh, my man, Kurt Christ. What up, yo? How you feeling, man? Kurt Christ to God, my G. What up, 8 Win? How you feeling? Knowledge well. You always got some good stuff to add to the conversation. Yo, we got a really focused group of people here. We don't have like 30 million people, but the few we have, we like the Spartans, yo. The 300 we have, the 300 we got is real powerful, man. Like people are just using knowledge, and I'm learning so much from everybody here, man. Caveman, what's up, man? Yeah, to rent a car. Yeah, we already talked about that. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So I would get started on that. Hit up your computer and start typing that affidavit. Make sure you leave a spot for your your officer to go, at your bank or wherever you take your stuff to get it notarized. Make sure you leave a spot for him to sign. Put all that good stuff on there. Get that joint taken care of, and boom, fly that in. Let that be the business. And one more thing too. I did hear from Radiant Clone. And Radiant Clone, I don't know if I've mentioned them before, but it's another YouTube truth seeker who has a lot of information. They had a guy named Patrick Devine who was I think he was an FBI, he used to work for the government in some position, but dude was like high ranking. So he ended up leaving, I believe. Or maybe he was a judge. I can't remember. But he ended up leaving his position pretty much, and he just started dropping this information. He just started dropping information. They were like, "Yo, what the fuck? What are you doing, man? Why are you doing this?" So he started dropping his information for real. People started following. So he said, from what I understand, he was saying if you had the foreign national passport, there's a way you can actually take your foreign national passport to the court clerk. Meaning, if you've ever been in a courthouse before, you go in the courthouse, the place you actually go to pay your court fees and all that stuff, that's not actually in the courtroom. That's actually separate. Well, the one here in Baltimore is. You go to that one, you go to the court clerk, and he says you can actually give him your passport and settle the matter privately before court even starts. But the whole objective is to keep your ass out of court. Don't want to go to court. I heard a story about my man. He actually ended up going to court, and he's a foreign national at the time, but he knows some shit I don't know, because he went in, and when the judge told him to come up, he basically says, I am the authorized representative for that matter." And the judge, he got up and he was walking towards the bar, and he stopped at the bar outside the bar. And the judge was like, "You need to stand right here, over here at the podium." And he was like, "I think you can hear me just fine from right here." He said that shit. People were all in the crowd looking at him like, "Yo, this nigga crazy." Like, so he does that. And the judge is looking at him like, "Yo, what is your problem?" So what the hell is it? The the officer in the court or whatever, he comes over like, "Get over here." They're all trying to intimidate him. He says, "I don't go nowhere. As a matter of fact, who's the trustee?" So the judge started panicking, like, I'm not the trustee. He's like, "Are you the trustee?" So the judge says, No, I'm not the trustee. Well, he says, "Well, I'm appointing you as the trustee." The judge was shook. So they basically got down to the nitty gritty, like, "What do you want?" So he says, I think he said some, I can't remember the exact words. He basically said something to the effect of, "How the hell can you be the judge, and how the hell can the police officer be the plaintiff, and you guys are both working for the United States corporation?" Somehow he put that in beautifully. He worded it. So basically, in a long word short, he ended up getting a trial date for basically a jury trial, but they dropped it before it even got the jury. They dropped it. So yeah, whatever he said, whatever words he used, he basically turned the whole entire situation around, and he did not cross the bar. He stayed on the other side of the bar. When you cross that bar, you're fucked. Period. Don't you cross that? You don't even want to be in court. I say the moment you step foot in a courthouse, you're fucked, honestly, because that's the U.S. territory, and you better have your passport. If you go to a U.S. territory and you're not a U.S. citizen, you better have your passport. Better have your passport. That's like getting caught in Jamaica, or getting caught in Europe without a passport. You know what I mean? You fuck. That's what time we on, man. That's why I saw you can start your own trial. Okay. Well, hey, caveman, if you know anything or you learn anything else, you know where the comment section is, baby brother. Share the link. We can all get on the same page. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm on some shit where I'm just trying to get as much knowledge as possible, and that's where we at. Yep. So that's where we at, fellas. Dealing with these police. And let me do this too. Also, I wanted to make sure I made a point of this. So when we're out conducting ourselves as foreign nationals, we don't want to engage in controversy. We don't want to argue. We don't want to yell and scream. The last thing we want to do is stoop down on that level. There's an old saying that basically sticks true today. Never argue with a fool if you're smarter than them, because they will drag you down to that level and they will beat you with experience. All right. That's why we don't want to engage in no controversy. Don't be out there yelling at police. Don't be mean mugging. Don't do none of that shit. We just want to go operating. Watch the word operating. We want to go engaging in the private side pretty much. We don't want to be, getting involved in it. I know your status and all that good stuff will make you feel like Superman at some point. But even Superman has a kryptonite. So be careful with that. So when y'all out there moving around, just make sure y'all remember, we want to avoid court. All right. And that's what it is. So if y'all have any more questions, man, I will skedaddle. All right. I think there's one more thing on it. Hold on. He might have said something else. Or we stand right at the court. Yeah, he said you can get your stuff notarized at the courthouse. which is what I would also tell. You can actually apply for a passport at the courthouse. Yeah, I heard that. You can go to court. You just need to also put them on notice before your date and who you are. The bailiffs and sheriffs will also be on notice. Always remain in honor. Yeah, that's a little bit above my level right now. Yeah, so there we are. There we have it. All right, fellas, y'all take it easy. I'll holler at y'all on the next run. Peace out. This is the Foreign National Born Natural A6, your gracious host. Y'all have a nice one. Peace.